to felicitate Honorable Finance Minister on behalf of Granthali, our publishers. In true Maharashtrian tradition, by offering him Puneri Pagri and Upalma. May I request these books. Thank you, sir. Shri Dileep Padgaonkar is an eminent journalist. In 1974, he was appointed as resident editor of Times of India, Delhi edition. In 78, he joined Thoughts on Ethics.
And Narendra Jadhav, ladies and gentlemen. I got this set sent to me 2 days ago. The last thing you should expect from me is to say anything about the contents. I have merely gone through those pages, taken a look at the index, taken a look at the subjects covered. But beyond that, I don't think I will be in a position to say much more. However, the very fact that these 3 volumes have been published, just released by Pranab, I think bears testimony to the Maharashtrians' deep and sustained interest in the language, literature, and culture of Bengal. The great novelists and poets of Bengal, Sarachandra, Bankim Chandra, Tagore, among others, found an enthusiastic readership among Marathi-speaking people. So did Bengal's revolutionaries, spiritual leaders, musicians, artists. My own generation, born just before independence, has been witness to this abiding fascination. Portraits on the walls of middle-class Maharashtrian homes included Shivaji, Lokmanya Tilak, Savarkar, Mahatma Phule, and Ambedkar. But apart from these Maharashtrian leaders, there were also portraits of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, and Subhash Chandra Bose. The intellectual elite of Maharashtra was in awe of the great reformist movements in Bengal, such as the Brahmo Samaj and Pradhan Samaj. In awe also of its musicians like Nikhil Banerjee and Ravi Shankar, of its playwrights like Badal Sirkar, of its filmmakers like Satyajit Ray, of its radical thinkers like M.N. Roy, of its scholars like Jagannath Sirkar and Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee. Bengal indeed attracted some of the finest Maharashtrian minds as well, including Sanskritists and scientists, academics and artists and writers. One of the most revered Marathi writer, P.L. Deshpande, spent time in Shantiniketan to study the Bengali language, to be able to read Tagore, the man who enjoyed iconic status in his eyes along with Charlie Chaplin, and propagate Gurudev's ideas and sensibilities to the people of Maharashtra. Narendra Jadhav has therefore carried forward this tradition of Maharashtra's enduring fascination for Bengal and all things Bengali. What explains this fascination? The poems and essays that Narendra Jadhav has translated and his account of Tagore's intellectual, artistic, and spiritual itinerary provide some clues. The first is the fact that Maharashtra and Bengal were the earliest parts of the country to respond to British imperial rule. Both responded with more or less similar impulses. The loathing of imperialism went hand in hand with the admiration for Western traditions of skepticism, the West's intellectual, scientific and technological achievements, and above all, its claims to be the receptacle of superior, enlightened virtues. In both Bengal and Maharashtra, more than anywhere else in the country, I suppose, sought to meet the challenge in a unique fashion. Some were inspired to pit the spiritual East against a materialist West, but some others championed ideas that were more relevant to Indian conditions. The best that the West had to offer needed to be employed in two opposite directions. One was to tell the imperialists that they were not abiding by the values of freedom and democracy they so zealously exposed. The other was to learn from the West and turn the light inwards. Inwards to the perversities of the caste intolerance, class bigotry, petty, paltry provincialism, and not least, communal bias. It would be foolhardy, therefore, as I said, to say anything more about the contents. But I do, again, want to stress on what drove Narendra Jadhav to make the particular choices. What drove him, I believe, is Tagore's extraordinary gift to remain at one and the same time rooted in the soil of Bengal and indeed of India, even while nursing and ensuring that the tree would go so tall that it would spread its foliage across the world. He took care, however, to see that the viruses of parochialism and bigotry did not infect the roots, nor did he allow the viruses of reactionary nationalism and of shallow cosmopolitan to infect the foliage. He forged an Indian idea of modernity, and he did so by claiming as India's own every human endeavor in the fields of art and literature, social justice, political emancipation, science, and spirituality. Each one, therefore, that carried the promise of freeing the mind from fear, lethargy, from the dead weight of habit, and above all, from ignorance. Consider this paragraph taken from a message Tagore sent to the Parliament of Religions, which is of great relevance today. Religion is the expression of human aspirations seeking the fundamental unity of truth in the divine person of God. Whereas sectarianism uses religion itself to create disunion among men, sharpening its sword for the killing of brothers as part of the ritual of the Father's worship. Sectarianism is a dangerous form of wordlessness that claims exclusive right to spiritual illumination within its own narrow enclosure, and the name God refuses recognition to God himself, where he is for all. This fundamental idea is the leitmotif of Gurudev's writings. Small wonder then that his appeal has cut across cultures and continents. Let us, however, guard against the deification of Tagore. Our attention must be riveted on his lightness of touch, on his wonderfully carefree aesthetic impulses, and on his indulgence for human frailties. I can think of only one other figure who incarnated these qualities, and I've mentioned before, Charlie Chaplin. Before I conclude, I do want to give you a couple of instances of Tagore's own connections with Maharashtra, and in particular with my city of birth, Pune. That will give you some idea of the lightness of touch I just mentioned. Shortly after he received the Nobel Prize, Tagore got a letter from one J.R. Tulu, writing from Cantonment, Pune. On a note paper embossed with a red rose, this Pune admirer sent several verses which he had penned in praise of Tagore. The opening one was Inns, Kipling. I do not know what Tagore must have thought of this particular reference to Kipling, known as he was to be fighting against British colonial rule. Then there is the incident of Gandhiji's fast in Pune, which, as you know, had ended up in the so-called Pune Pact. Gandhiji said that he would break his fast only after he heard Tagore sing one of his verses. Tagore began to sing it, didn't quite remember the melody, broke off halfway, but that was enough for Gandhiji. He reached out to a glass of orange juice that had been specially prepared by a young 15-year-old girl. Her name, Indira Nehru Gandhi. Thank you very much.
Scholars, I request Mr. Sirkar to speak.
Honorable Finance Minister Jadhav, I am normally not at ill at ease on the stage because it's part of my job. But today I don't mind confessing that when I see so many seniors, so many enlightened persons in the audience, I am a little unnerved. I tried to persuade Professor Jadhav from getting me here, but he was not listening. Since I have this small opportunity, I have taken the permission of the Finance Minister, who is the chairman, the helmsman for the Tagore commemoration in his capacity as chairman of the National Implementation Committee, to list out in a very munshi fashion some of the things that perhaps we have not been able to get across. I will start by congratulating Professor Jadhav for taking up this work. I keep on asking, where do you get the time? I think Mr. Jadhav has partly answered it. But then apart from the time, it's a question of spirit, a question of choice. Tagore's works range in such volumes that one has to pick and choose those that will bring forward the message that you're trying. As part of the member secretary of the committee under Honorable Finance Minister, I would take this opportunity to just list a few of similar efforts or similar circumstances that are available to us. First of all, the National Implementation Committee has taken a series of decisions. One of them is to encourage the translation of Tagore into Indian and foreign languages, and, which is more interesting, to repackage them. Tagore has been translated for the last 100 years into many major languages, but when we went to look for them, we found them in very scholarly, heavy tomes, big, thick books in German libraries. Obviously, that makes them automatically out of reach of the common man. The same has occurred in some Indian languages as well, where you find them only in universities and major libraries. So one of the decisions is to slice them up into handy, readable pieces and perhaps subsidize it in the year of the 150th year, so that the message finally leaves academia and reaches the people. Any project I was trying to convince Honorable Minister Salman Khurshid, who takes an active interest in these matters, to help us in Urdu. I've been persuading Sir to take it up in Marathi. And so apart from direct translations that can always be done, as has been done, is the opportunity that the committee under the Finance Minister has offered for slicing up, as I would put it, repackaging them into usable books. The other tip is to go in for co-publication. When you look at government publications, you won't find them anywhere because of the constrictions of circulation, the lack of marketing. Co-publication helps. That is another very positive decision. I have just come out from the other end of IIC, where there's a meeting going on with some of 10 of India's greatest writers on a project that is headed by Professor Jauhar on a similar subject of how do we communicate with each other. India needs, even before we get across to other nations, to understand each other. I can understand half of Marathi, which makes quite a lot, and that's because of certain similarities. But so one of the projects that has been approved by the chairman here is about something called surtitling. It's a technical term that comes from opera and theatre, where you have screens on the side or on the top, and the bhavat, the sum and substance comes out. If that could be put into the auditoria, we have started by entrusting this work to the National School of Drama, and we hope to come up with the first 40 or 50 experimental ones. This would mean that I would be able to understand Malayalam being played in front of me. India needs to come together, and Tagore offered this opportunity. His memory gave us this opportunity 50 years ago during the centenary celebrations when the Tagore Auditoria scheme came up. The Ravindra Bhavans, the Ravindra Sadan, the Ravindranath, they have also been taken up for upgradation. But beyond that, we need to communicate through the digital medium. So one of this thing, the meeting that we came out was on digitization of the works of India in the web sphere. Having said that, I fully agree with Dileep when he says it is time to evaluate, not to deify. The theme of our seminar yesterday was on the same issue, that this is a time for evaluation, not for hagiography. We need to demystify, take him out, and reach him to the people. And the model that we use, as I said, for subtitling, for auditoria, is a model that we apply, that is to every other language as well, pairs of languages. Now, the last request is Professor Jadhav has taken an absolutely personal mission to bring him out from Tagore, from Bengali to Marathi, but through the route of English. This year, there are funds placed at our disposal for direct translations. Also, sir, and research assistants and others whom you may require. Because once we take him to England, we lose, apart from processing losses, ending losses, and what we call idiomatic losses. So this is one request. If ever you want to take up any other project and you would like to get the flavor of it direct from the language by somebody who knows both languages, this is something we would be encouraging very much. And I hope the next project you will be able to avail of this assistance. With these words, I thank you once again.
January 12, 2007. He is a voracious reader of Marathi as well as Bengali literature. So we both thought that he is the right choice